Hi, my name is Mark Biernot. I'm a monetary economist. I've studied money and credit my whole life. And my claim is the Russian ruble is not money. The Russian ruble is not currency. And that is the theme of this video, and that is my claim. Before I get into it, I can't believe I'm saying this. It's the return of Candyland. I'm going to talk about that later in the video. But let's first talk about this Russian ruble not being money. The leaders in Moscow don't even realize it at this point. They may have some inkling, but just as a chess player who's setting up a move, Garry Kasparov, he's basically got to crush his opponent. And that's the situation in the Russian ruble. The leaders don't even realize how far it's going to fall. My claim is that it's not money because Karl Menger in 1871 laid it out very clearly what money was, a medium of exchange. He actually wrote a book on money. A medium of exchange, but it is universally accepted and it's agreed upon as a social contract to solve the double coincidence of wants. In the past, obviously, we used everything from shells to pelts. Even in America, even though we had American currency, we used Spanish pieces of 8. And until recently, the stock market was quoted in eighths because of that legacy. So money is not something ordained from above. Currency is not something what you peg it at a certain rate. It's what people want to use, and they agree to use. Karl Menger. Now, we're going to get into further Austrian economics when you talk about Hayek, F.A. Hayek, Ludwig von Mises. Money, when it's in disequilibrium, it has a systemic effect throughout the entire economy, which means the second half of every transaction is money. You trade something for money. You don't use barter exchange ratios because it's very inefficient. And again, this all comes from the Swedish economist Knut Wicksell. It's another topic. But let's talk about this Russian ruble not being money. It's not real. It's not even fake money. It doesn't exist. Because let's look at the top 5 currencies people use. The US dollar, the euro, the Japanese yuan, the pound sterling, and the Chinese yuan. That's the top 5. I go to Africa. I'm in a market. I ask the question, do you take dollars? What do you think the answer is? I'm in South America. I'm in a market. I ask the question, I only have dollars. Is that okay? I was in Russia when I was in Russia. I probably banned now. Do you take dollars? Their eyes just expanded. What are the next currencies? The Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, the Hong Kong dollar, the Singapore dollar. That's the top 10 currencies. Nowhere to be found is the Russian ruble. What's after that? The Swedish krona, the Norwegian krona. You've got other currencies in there, like the Mexican peso, okay? And then you've got further down, you've got actually the Danish. I love the Danish people. They support Ukraine, korona. And you've got further down, you've got even the Polish zloty is pretty high up there. So where is the ruble? In the top 200 currencies, it's 0.000% traded internationally. Maybe it's like a stock on the pink sheet. If you know what a pink sheet is, it has some nominal value somewhere just for accounting purposes. There's an expression when you're trading currency. It's called the tape tells all, TTS. It means the price, and the price is really a future intertemporal price between individuals looking for this exchange. That embedded in it is all the fundamentals and the technicals of any currency. A currency should always represent the fundamentals of an economy. If nobody accepts the ruble, I would accept the Ukrainian hryvnia. I would accept it. I could go to Poland, exchange it for zloty, euro. It's a currency. You can't go to Poland and expect ruble to pay in ruble. They would look at you, chase you out of town. You can't do that in London. You can't do that in Boston. But I could take the dollar, a generally accepted medium of exchange, as agreed. Even though we're fiat, it is accepted. Well, what about the issue you might bring up that the ruble, the Russian ruble, is pegged almost at just over a penny. It's like 0.11, and it stays there consistency. That's not real. My history professor in high school, he went to the Soviet Union with the Soviet ruble. They had a pegged denomination that wasn't real also. It's not money. Why? Because it's not generally accepted. So what is my claim? My claim is the ruble is not money. Do you agree? It's not real. And what is the effect? It has going to have a systemic effect across all society. If I was a Russian right now, what would I do? I wouldn't be buying ruble. They can't even buy anything else. Maybe they can do some roundabout way after these sanctions. Thank you very much, G7. And after we're taking this oligarch money, this 50 billion, and using it as a loan, and the interest is actually coming from the oligarch money. Thank you again, G7. Very wise, because there's something called international law and universal justice. If I was a Russian, I would hoard potatoes. You can bury potatoes, store them in the ground, and plant them next year. Sounds crazy, but I've seen societies fall apart, and that's what I'm going to talk about, the return of Candyland. I was there in Moscow in the 90s, and society with the ruble, it fell apart. I went to this apteka, a pharmacy. It was called the Pushkin Cafe, deep down underground from the 1600s. Beautiful place. The menus were handwritten in Old Russian. The waiter gave it to me for free. I couldn't believe it. In script. These people were giving me invaluable things, and I'm talking only ethical and moral things. Basically, the entire country, when the fabric of society falls apart, when the monetary system falls apart. They're bluffing with this ruble right now, but the bluff, it's like when you're playing, at the table. The bluff only lasts so long. And they don't even realize it themselves how fast this ruble is going to become vaporware and collapse. And anybody who talks about whataboutism, it's backed by gold. No, it's not backed by gold at all, because gold currency backed is like 1870 to 1914. I could take a backed currency with pegged exchange rate, fixed exchange rates. I actually believe in fixed exchange rates. Another story. You could take it to the window at any bank and get a bag of gold for it. You cannot do that with the ruble. That's just whataboutism. That's Russian propaganda. The Russian ruble is nothing. It's worthless. Like I said, I was selling stacks of old ruble on eBay in the marketplace. It's not even worth the paper it's printed on. So the Russian strategy, if you're a Russian strategy, buy something tangible like potatoes and store it. I don't know if they're sprayed in Russia. I think they are. I think they have sprout inhibitors, or a lot of them do. Find the ones that aren't, store them. At least you have some value in food for the next year, because there's a good chance you will not have things like food. You certainly don't have plumbing, as I discussed in the other video. You might not have heating. And, the whole premise behind this in Moscow is a top-down, non-capitalistic system, which is based on barter exchange ratios. They can take a good, like oil, and take it to market and exchange it for goods. But these are unproductive goods. They're not building bridges and roads and plumbing. They're doing things of destruction. And if we want to make humanity a better place, that has to stop. And I do want to make humanity in this world a better place. And the good thing is, capitalism, conscious capitalism, ethical capitalism always wins against totalitarianism, where there's East Germany versus West Germany, North Korea versus South Korea, Venezuela and Cuba versus Florida. There is no way it can win this totalitarian system. It's based on a 1984 it's delusional economics. So let's watch this return of Candyland and celebrate it. People think Russia's called Candyland because the whiskey, St. Basil Cathedral, and the colorful, they look like gumdrops. That's not why it's called Candyland. It's been branded Candyland because the monetary collapse, and the ruble always is collapsing, ushers in a state where you can get anything you want ethically. So the ruble's going down. It's not even a currency. It's not money. Poof, it's gone like magic. Isn't it great to just watch history unfold and justice, divine justice, being implemented in this world? Because that's what we want. Light wins over darkness. We want to make the world a better place. And there's no better barometer than that when you're looking at an economics of the society than the currency. My name is Mark Biernaut. I'm a monetary economist. Have a great day. Thank you very much.